So this episode is going to be about a new book, and the book is called Getting to Yes by Robert Fisher, and I've absolutely not read it, just in this slightly millisecond where you were able to see my eyes switching from this view to this view. Absolutely fucking not. Well, yeah, we're going to see you after the intro, or I'm going to see you after the intro, because I'm alone, sitting at home on my desk. Yes. Is there actually a rhyme for desk? There probably is. There's probably a ton of rhymes for desk. But yeah, anyway, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I really am appreciating you being here, you clicking on the video, and you just spending your time with me in this episode. With this episode, I guess. Anyway, I'm grateful and thank you. We're going to go through another book, and I do not want to waste actually any time with being like, well, I do want to explain something. What I want to explain is please have a look into the description, also in the show notes, if you are on the podcast. It is important. It really is important. Please have a look at the description and or in the show notes. It's important. It is only good for you. It's not even good for me. I don't give a fuck. Everything that could be somehow important for me is going to be at the very bottom of the whole thing. Please check it out. Please. So, Getting to Yes by Robert Fisher. I do want to look up Robert Fisher at first. I actually am very sorry for not being prepared. Robert William Fisher, American fugitive, wanted for allegedly killing his wife and 2 children. I don't think that it is him. Super. Robert Fisher, author. Let's see. Fisher, playwright. List of books by Robert Fisher. Well, anyway, I don't give a shit now. So, Getting to Yes by Robert Fisher, which is a 9 out of 10 from the netaliason.com site. Everything is linked down in the description. Also, another reason why you should actually check out the description, because everything is there. Everything that you kind of might need. You don't fucking need, maybe the source or whatnot. But yeah. The high-level thoughts, or this little kind of summary the author is giving to us. So the author of the summary, or the author of this article, basically. The best book on negotiation and effective argumentation. Useful even if you're not in business, since in some form we are always negotiating. And I think this is totally the case. And being able to communicate is always something that's quite important, because we are writing emails, we are doing whatever. We are always communicating. As Václavík also said, we are never communicating, or we are never not communicating. Yeah, this is the right one. Some sort of, his axioms, or how they're called in English. I don't actually know, but we always communicate. Even if I'm sitting here, I communicate. Even if I'm not talking, I'm communicating, because body language, mimics, gestures, and all sorts of different things, I can sit here and you can totally know what the fuck I'm thinking about, or what mood I'm in, and all those things. You really can. This is why we are always communicating. The summary notes. Any method of negotiating should be judged by 3 criteria. The first one is, it should be productive. It should produce a wise argument if, it should produce a wise agreement if agreement is possible. It should be efficient, and the last one is, it should improve or at least not damage the relationship between the participants or the parties. Yes, I think I do especially like the last one, because I think it's something that's relatively common, that when you're negotiating something with someone, that it could get into a space where it's not even funny anymore. And I am kind of also... I'm imagining that when you're, for example, negotiating with a client, and I've seen it as well. I understand it. I really truly understand that when you need something done, a design, a picture, a cover, whatever, that you do not want to pay a lot. The problem is, you also do want to make your money. It is just basically something that's relatively speaking, selfish. Because you know that this person is putting in some work for whatever the fuck this person is doing. And at first, especially for a person like me, I am not really able to just charge a high price because I am new, because I haven't been doing so many projects and I haven't been working on so many projects. But I've totally seen it, and I've totally also recognized it, that people do not want to pay a lot, and I think it also makes sense. Like, if I can get something relatively cheaply, then I'm also gonna get it relatively cheaply. Like, it just makes sense. But I mean, I could also be like, no, that's too low price for me. Does not work. I'm not gonna do it. But it is also not, I think, the smartest thing, especially in the beginning, especially if you're starting out to do something, which is totally the case for me. I mean, if you're just a big business and you just choose your clients and the clients come to you and not you to the clients and all those things, then you can say like, okay, no, I'm not going to do this project. I'm going to find someone else that can do this for you for this price. But we are not going to do this for you. And I think it is even a good thing. It's even a really good thing to be like to a client coming up to you and being like, well, I'm having 1K and I want you to do this and that and these and those with this 1K. And then being like, well, we are not going to do this for the price, We are not able to do that. But we know somebody else. We know another company. We know another design agency that can do this for you. And so they send him or her, the client, to this other agency. I think there's something amazing. I think it is just totally amazing also for your business. I mean, of course, you could think like, well, you've lost a client and you've just lost money and whatnot. But in fact, you haven't, because this person is probably gonna come back to you again. If the person needs something that's maybe priced at a higher price or can be a little bit pricey and whatnot, then they're totally come to you because they know that you're a good person and you're a good company. Because you could always be like, no, we are not going to do this for you. And I don't give a fuck whether you find something or somebody that can do this for you or not. You could also be doing it in this way. But I would rather appreciate and I would rather suggest you to do it in the first way. Being like, well, so here's this company and this agency and that agency. And it also feels good, on the other hand. The more you clarify your position and defend it against attack, the more committed you become to it. Yeah, totally. Arguing over positions is inefficient. Yes, it totally is, because I'm in this position, you're in that position. And we all maybe even like the position that we are in. And then it becomes really, really, really stressful and unnecessary and fucked up and difficult to then negotiate and be like, well, yeah, not good. Arguing over positions endangers an ongoing relationship. I think it also depends on like how you think about the position you're in. It still depends on what position you're talking about there. Therefore, when it, for example, would be about, never mind. I think I'm having a wrong thought there. So when there are many parties, positional bargaining is even worse. Quote unquote, being nice isn't the answer either. Well, I don't know. I think being nice is often a pretty good answer for quite a lot of things, but it might not always be a good answer nor the answer. The straightforward, principled negotiation method. People separate the people from the problem. Oh, people separate the people from the problem. Yes, totally. Like, you can argue with somebody, but you're probably going to argue about something. And this completely does not have anything to do with the person. And I think it is a really important thought. Like, whether it is in your relationship with your loved ones, with the family and whatnot. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to clean this a little bit. It's always important to remember that. It's always important to see the people. It's always important to see the problem and not the people, and seeing the people as the people are and seeing the people as how they are acting and how they, which is, I think, actually a good thing if you then know the people, because then you can be like, well, this is something that I'm used to. This is something that I know about this person. This is something that I could have imagined or could have anticipated, because this person is always reacting in such a way when I'm doing this and that or these and those. But I think it is important, because most often I think we're gonna turn an argument about something into an argument about like, okay, I hate you and you're a piece of shit and whatnot, which is definitely not about the fucking problem but it is about the person then. Negotiators are people first. Well, yeah, every negotiator has an interest in the result and in the relationship. To work through people problems, think in terms of perception, emotion, and communication. What does perception once again mean? My perception of something. Is it like thought, appreciation, recognition, realization, cognizance, awareness? Well, yeah, I think awareness is you're going to notice things, then there's going to be emotions, and then you're going to communicate. Or to work through people problems, think in terms of, I don't really know what he wants to say with this sentence, but I really believe that it is something that's important to keep in mind, that people are having emotions, and people are using emotions, and people are communicating sometimes with emotions and without emotions, but in a very, very unclear way. Which is like, I think asking yourself a lot of questions is often actually the right answer. Like which is something pretty funny. There's often a good question you can ask yourself for whatever position you're in, or for whatever situation you might be in. When something happens and something might break down, or might be whatever, or somebody, I guess this is a good example. When somebody cuts you off, and this is an example that I'm stealing right now, I'm sorry. This is from the conversation from Tim Ferriss, and I unfortunately don't know. I really don't know, but the whole point is, somebody cuts you off and you're really pissed about this person. You really think that this dumb motherfucker is a fucking dumb motherfucker because he cut you off or she cut you off and whatnot. The problem is, you don't know the person. You just know what the person did, and you don't even know why this person did it. Which is like two really good reasons for being like, well, should I really complain? Should I really be angry at this person? Should I really actually be thinking about anything just because this person did something like that? Like, of course, it can piss you off. But it is rather about the reaction rather than the situation, the reaction to the situation rather than the situation as such. Because you don't have to get angry. You don't have to react angry. I don't also have to react in a happy way if I'm just finding something funny. Of course, like, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, as well as it is difficult to just not cry if you really feel like crying, and but most often we really decide. It is subconscious, of course, like, it's not really something that we consciously debate with ourselves in our head and shit. No, it is really a really fast thing, and often it is like not that good, especially when it is, as I said, about complaining, because there is no ROI in fucking complaining about whatever it might be, because it's not gonna make anything better. And this is definitely also something that I also have to keep in mind, because I think I and people in general do really default into that relatively quickly. I don't actually know why. I don't know if this is also something, what I'm now thinking about, is if it is also something like it is so in culture, it is so in people, it has been in our parents, and in their parents, and in their parents, and in their parents, that it is like really common that we're complaining about a lot of shit, and just, up to this point when one of these generations actually notices and recognizes that there's something wrong with that, and they maybe should be doing something about it, we're gonna just give it to our children, and they're gonna give it to their children, and they're gonna give it to their children, and whatnot. Like, as so many things, actually, as really so many things, which also might be one of the reasons why, when you're having a really wealthy person as a parent, whether it is mom or dad or both, I think they do just have certain beliefs. They have certain beliefs about money. They have certain beliefs of also how to deal with money, and I'm not gonna say like, okay, they're gonna just buy whatever they want and they're gonna do a lot of shit with their money. No, not really. I think it in a way of, they know how to invest money, how to use your money, and how to not lose your money, because if you're having a lot of money, these are questions you have to ask yourself. On the other hand, there might also be some other questions that you do not really think about because it's not relevant to you, which is, on the other hand, really relevant for a person that is really not rich, maybe even poor, and all those things. Well, yeah, let's move on. Perception. Oh, he actually lists it down. perception. The ability to see the situation from the other person's side is one of the most important skills a negotiator can possess. Yeah, because if you're a negotiator, if you're using that, you then know what the other person might like to have, which is then going to be like, well, if this person really wants to, it's not about money there, and it's also not about like being, okay, you give me your car and I give you my yacht. Shit. I don't think about that. I think about this person wants to do this and that, or this person wants this amount of money because this person has to feed a family, or this person is in debt, or this person is whatever. And if you know that, if you can somehow maybe even anticipate that by really going into the person, trying to feel how the person might feel, or what might be going on, and then just trying it out by communicating it, and then just having a look at the response, basically. I think it is important, but I would rather say it's empathy rather than perception, but I don't know. Look for opportunities to surprise their perceptions, especially if those perceptions put you in a bad light. Okay? Is it like suddenly shouting around like a fucking dumbass? Like, of course, it's gonna surprise them. And also their perception. Well, yeah. Anyway, give them a stake in the outcome by letting them participate in the process. Yes, people like to participate in the process. People really like to just be, I don't want to say accountable, but they like to be just a part of it. Or at least they want to feel like being a part of it, you know? They don't really have to be a part of it, but they want to feel like they have done something. So, yeah, this is what they like. Discuss each other's perceptions. Don't blame them for your problem. Yes, always. Not only when it is about negotiating. And make your proposal consistent with their values, and then let them save face. It's actually something that I've heard quite often when I've been going through some negotiation books, because I've also went through, even on the podcast, I Never Split the Difference, which is a really good one. I've really enjoyed it, and I think it is indeed pretty valuable. But also the Wolf of Wall Street book, I think it's been, or even a course, which is the straight line persuasion tactic or strategy, I guess. Or it's definitely the straight line whatever. This is for sure. Like, this is what I remember. And there might also be something else. But Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss is a really good one. Really, really, really good one. Emotion. Recognize and understand emotions, theirs and also yours. Consider the role of identity and understand if their identity is threatened. Because if it is threatened, then you're fucked. The whole deal or whatever it is all about, it's going to be fucked. If they feel like that their identity is threatened, if there's something going on with their identity, then they're going to be so fucked. Because, or you're actually going to be fucked. Because identity is like the deepest, most important thing that we're having. And I've been actually talking about it like, I have to write it down. Because as you might know, I'm writing a book, and there's a lot of things that I sometimes come up with or think about. What did I talk about? Identity. It's probably written just the wrong way, but anyway. I'm a smoker. I'm fat. I'm whatever. It means it's you. It is your identity. I'm a smoker. I'm an athlete. I'm whatever. It is something different to say that I'm a person that smokes, I'm not a smoker, but I do smoke. It is something else. Because it is then not really your identity. You're not a smoker. It is not a part of you. It is not you, maybe as well. But, and the funny thing is, it is also something that Tim Ferriss and the other guy have also been talking about in the episode I've been listening to that I've been listening to today. And they said he said well, African Americans, and it's been about something political, and he said okay, when we say we African Americans, which is we, it's our identity, it's us, it is we African Americans, it's us. It is a very strong political message, because it's about us, it's about an identity, it is about our identity, and whatnot. Maybe you can just actually see that in political things as well, if they are around in your place, or if you're just seeing it online or whatever. But yeah, emotions are always legitimate. legal, lawful? Yes, of course they are. Allow them to let off steam if necessary. If you're, yeah, I think it is actually always a good thing. If you notice that somebody's like really pissed off, asking them and being the person that helps them to just get rid of this anger, rid of this shit that's going on in them, it's just great. It also feels great for them. On the other hand, and the last one is use symbolic gestures, gift giving, etc. to show empathy. Well, I do actually have to say, like, it is really, really cool book so far. I really enjoyed it so far, but I don't really know what it has to do with negotiation. Kind of. But yeah, anyway, this is probably going to be the end of the episode there. So I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just being a nice person and then being remembered as a nice person. And with that being said, there's 3 other questions that I'm having for you, which are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea. Just maybe. Thank you a lot for the time and attention, and I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So, bye-bye. But on the very other side, I can't actually end the episode because it is loading and loading. And I've unfortunately been able to, quote-unquote, waste a lot of time, which is pissing me off a little bit because it's already 5 p.m. This is what I believe in. This is what I feel now. 3 ways to help you be your best self in your relationship. What is the ideal age to retire? Never according to a neuroscientist. 7 ways to be a better communicator by tweaking your body language. How to be kinder to yourself? Or maybe. Give your hands a rest. There is gonna be a Lord, there is gonna be. There is gonna be a Lord, there is gonna be.